Golden sun upon the sea.
Golden sun is over me.
Ukulele melody.
Drifting on a gentle breeze.
Let the worries fall away
On this slow...
Hey guys, Uncle Sully back at you again with another food video. And Richie is eating my headphone cables. So I guess I'm just going to have to deal with it. They're cheap. They're only a few dollars. And I don't think they could shock him to death if he bit through. Why are you biting that stuff? Why don't you just watch the video with us? No? You're not interested? This one's about cereal. He would eat cereal if I gave it to him, right? He would eat cereal if I gave it to you, right? Yeah, you pretty bird. Got stuff to talk about? Yeah, pretty bird. Yeah, you're a nice bird. I don't know if you can hear him or not. If you can, then it looks silly. Anyway, let's get to the cereal video, and afterwards we'll have some Captain Crunch.
Welcome to This Explainer. I am so glad you're here. Today, we're going to take a virtual walk down one of the most colorful, chaotic, and heavily marketed aisles in the entire grocery store. Yep, you guessed it, this cereal aisle. If you've ever stood there just kind of staring at a massive wall of brightly colored boxes, wondering how on earth to spot the truly healthy options for you or your family, well, you're
Wait a second. Are there healthy options in the cereal aisle?
place. So let's dive right into this.
It's a question we really need to ask ourselves, right? I mean, we've been told for decades that a bowl of cereal is the cornerstone of a quote-unquote complete breakfast. But as we start peeling back the layers, or, the cardboard packaging, we start to see that a lot of what we're pouring into our bowls every morning might not actually be as nutritious as those bold, flashy health claims on the front of the box want us to believe.
All right, Section 1, the cereal aisle deception.
Okay, to really understand what we're eating, we first got to understand how it's being sold to us, especially to the youngest and most vulnerable consumers. Just think about this staggering number for a second. According to a recent analysis by the Rudd Center for Food Policy and Health, back in 2021, cereal represented an unbelievable 43% of all food ads viewed by children on kids' TV programming. 43%! It was literally the single most advertised children's food category. These companies are spending an absolute fortune to make sure their products are front and center in kids' minds.
And this brings us to a pretty glaring disconnect. You see, the industry has these voluntary pledges, like the Children's Food and Beverage Advertising Initiative, which claim they'll limit ads to healthier options. But as lead researcher Jennifer Harris points out right here, the reality doesn't quite match the promise. Cereal companies actually do have nutrition.
Look at the two on the right-hand side. I guess it would be your right-hand side. Does all that colorful stuff look healthy in any way, shape, or form to you? Did you say processed from a factory?
But they actively choose to spend their advertising dollars marketing their highly sweetened, least healthy products directly to kids.
And the data completely backs this up. Looking at markets in France, Belgium, and Luxembourg, almost 30% of the entire cereal market is dedicated specifically to kids. And these children's cereals consistently have much poorer nutritional profiles. We're talking way higher sugar, lower fiber, and they are far more ultra-processed when you compare them to something simple like oat flakes or muesli.
Moving on to Section 2, the sugar health connection.
So we know the marketing is super aggressive. But what's the actual physical impact of eating these highly refined, sugary cereals every single morning? Well, the statistics are honestly pretty alarming. 2/3 of US children are consuming more than the recommended limit for added sugar, which should ideally be capped at roughly 10% of their daily calories. And guess what? Breakfast cereal is cited as one of the top food sources driving this excess sugar. It's basically dessert for breakfast.
So what happens when we start our day with a massive dose of sugar?
Right, when you think about cereal, like I want cereal in the morning, do you think about the fiber-rich granola stuff, what they used to call them, grape nuts? No, you think of Captain Crunch. You think of Crunch Berries. You think of Count Chocula. Whatever, I'm aging myself, right? I mean, that's what you think about. You don't think about, yes, I want the healthy option. It'll basically break a couple of teeth, but it's good for you. You may as well have some broccoli and some chicken for breakfast. It's probably more nutritious. Anyway, let's continue.
It's not good. The CDC notes that more than 20% of children ages 6 to 11 are obese. And between 2002 and 2018, the number of young people newly diagnosed with type 2 diabetes actually doubled. Doubled! Breakfast cereals made with refined grains and high sugars cause these sharp post-meal blood sugar spikes, which over time are directly linked to some really severe chronic health risks, including heart and blood vessel diseases.
Let's look at the actual numbers to prove this. This table shows the glycemic index, or GI, which basically measures how quickly a food spikes your blood sugar. Look at the top row. Standard American cornflakes have a GI of 92, and rice bubbles are sitting right there at 87.
Rice bubbles? Ever heard of rice bubbles?
Now compare that to the bottom row. A high-fiber cereal like All Bran drops all the way down to a GI of just 42, with a significantly lower glycemic load. The difference between a refined sugary cereal and a high-fiber option is literally night and day for your biology.
Section 3, Anatomy of a Grain. To really understand why that massive blood sugar spike happens, we need to look under the hood and figure out what a grain actually is. A whole grain, as defined by the Mayo Clinic, has 3 distinct parts. First up is the bran. Think of this as the hard outer coating of the seed. The absolutely crucial point here is that the bran contains almost all of the grain's natural fiber, along with essential vitamins and minerals. And fiber is the magic ingredient that slows down digestion and stops those crazy blood sugar spikes.
The second part is the germ. This is the reproductive part of the seed that sprouts into a whole new plant. It's incredibly nutrient dense, just packed with vitamins, healthy fats, and natural plant nutrients. And finally, we have the endosperm. This act.
Right, but don't with processed wheat and the like, that's the problem, is they strip all that stuff out and then bleach the hell out of it. I don't know. That's what my understanding. But anyway, let's continue. Maybe they'll tell us.
For the growing seed, and it's made up almost entirely of starches with very little fiber. Now here is where the problem starts. When grains are refined to make most commercial breakfast cereals, the manufacturing process strips away the nutritious bran and the germ. They're left with just that starchy endosperm. You lose the fiber, you lose the nutrients, and you're left with a fast digesting carb.
Section 4, Fortified versus Whole Grains. This actually brings us to a super fascinating debate in the world of nutrition. Because the industry knows they strip the nutrients out during processing, they often just add them back in artificially. Let's look at both sides of this impartially. On the left, we have the medical perspective from institutions like the Mayo Clinic. They advocate strongly for intact whole grains, because keeping the natural bran and germ provides natural fiber, which has proven benefits for lowering cholesterol and controlling blood pressure. But on the right, we have the European breakfast cereal industry, cereal. They defend fortified grains, which, remember, are refined grains that have synthetic vitamins like B vitamins, iron, and vitamin D added back in. The industry argues that this fortification...
You strip them out and then you put them back in. But of course, the ones you're putting back in are more like chemicals, right?
...to prevent nutrient deficiencies, especially for low-income populations or people on restrictive diets.
And they are doing this on a massive scale.
Okay, sorry guys, this is another one of those. Take a look at these results, and it's all too small to read. Okay, I think this is the 4th one of these explainer videos that I have it's too small to read in it. But this looks like legalese anyway, so nobody wants to read it.
78% of breakfast cereals sold by cereal members in Europe were fortified. So it's undeniable that fortified cereals do provide essential vitamins to millions of people. However, the absolutely crucial takeaway for us here is this. While fortification replaces vitamins, it almost never replaces the vital natural fiber that was lost when that bran was stripped away.
All right, Section 5, Reading the Ingredient Label. So how do we actually navigate all this? How do we find the cereals that kept their fiber and aren't just loaded?
Right, isn't that a big one? I think I've had a couple of videos on here that tell you, like, oh, look, it's only got this in it. And that sounds like really healthy. And then all of a sudden you think of, well, what is that? It's orange juice with a concentrated. Oh, it comes from concentrated orange. Well, concentrated is just where they, take all the water out of it, and later they put all the water back in, to save space. No, the concentrate can have all kinds of stuff. I'm not saying it does, but according to what I saw on the internets, So it's like you got to be careful what they write, because what they write can be deceptive, right? It's kind of like 100% beef. Remember the days, the arguments about that with fast food, 100% beef, and what they meant was, well, the beef that's in it's 100% beef, but it's 45% soy. But the beef that's in it, it's kind of like, and then what they do is they trademark the word beef. So it doesn't mean what you think it means. Beef could mean, toe jam and sugar and all kinds of stuff, because it's a registered trademark. It isn't beef. They're so sleazy. Anyway, let's get back to what I ramble.
Here is your step-by-step toolkit for decoding a cereal box. Step 1, completely ignore the health claims on the front cover. Actually, just pretend the front of the box doesn't exist. It's marketing, not medicine. Step 2, flip the box around and check the actual ingredients list, because ingredients have to be listed from greatest to least amount. Step 3, make sure a word like whole grain, whole wheat, or whole oats is the very first ingredient. And step 4, keep an eye out for hidden sugars. Manufacturers are really clever. They might not put sugar as the first ingredient, but they'll list high fructose corn syrup, molasses, and cane juice separately, so they all fall lower down on the list.
If you want a hard and fast metric to remember next time you're at the store, when you're looking at that...
If you want a hard and fast metric, according to this, don't eat it. Go by that aisle like whoosh, lightning fast.
Limit added sugar to under 5 grams per serving. And to make sure you're actually getting a whole grain, aim for at least 3 grams of fiber per serving. If a cereal hits both of those targets, you're looking at a legitimately healthy option.
Section 6. Building a better breakfast. But of course, you don't have to eat cereal from a box at all. The absolute best way to avoid refined grains and hidden sugars entirely is to choose unprocessed, single-ingredient whole foods. Plain oatmeal, topped with raisins and nuts, gives you 100% whole grains without any of that factory processing. Greek yogurt with sliced fruit adds some excellent filling protein. Or, hey, skip the grains entirely and go for scrambled eggs with vegetables. Studies show that a breakfast like that significantly promotes satiety.
Or what's the thing about just eat whatever your leftovers are? Like if you have some chicken and mashed potatoes from last night, why don't you just eat that? I mean, I have raviolis and some Italian sausages cooked in my refrigerator right now. And if I was hungry in the morning, I usually fast in the morning, coffee and water. I would eat that. What's the stigma? Why does it have to be in a bowl? Why does it have to be eggs and bacon? Don't get me wrong. Daddy loves his eggs and bacon and waffles. Oh, I love waffles. But I just can't eat them all the time, once in a while. And so why don't you have what you regularly had? Like a regular meal. Why does it have to be something in a bowl or eggs and bacon? Anyway, just my 2 cents worth. And Richie agrees with me. Like he always does.
For hours longer than a typical bowl of cereal.
Well, we have covered a lot of ground today, from sneaky marketing tactics to the actual biology of a grain, right down to the specific metrics of a nutrition label. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Next time you walk down that cereal aisle, surrounded by all those bright colors and cartoon characters, what are you going to look for on the box? I really hope you feel empowered to flip it around, check for whole grains and fiber, and make a choice that truly fuels your day. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep learning.
Okay, that was a really good one, actually, except for the small text. But yeah, the cartoon characters, it was Count Chocula back in the day, and God, I don't even remember, Frankenpuffs or something. I don't remember. There was a whole bunch of them. Captain is the only one everybody really remembers. The best marketing in the world, Captain Crunch back in the day. Anyway, so I avoid cereal, period. Like I said, if I get up in the morning, I'll either have fruit or I'll just have like I said before, I've got Italian sausages. I'll just have spaghetti. It's like, I'll eat whatever's in the refrigerator. I don't have that stigma. Well, it's got to be bacon or eggs, or it's got to be something in a bowl, cereal or oats, or why? It doesn't. Just have broccoli and spinach. So anyway, that's my 10 cents worth. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good time. I got more, man. They're coming. I'm telling you. I got ideas. It's ideas. Head is full of ideas. I'm telling you. I'm throwing them at you like it's cereal. Aloha.
Golden sun upon the sea.
golden sun is over me.
Ukulele